Nice guys versus good guys. Exactly what this means and how to be the guy that a woman really wants. Hi guys, my name is Apollonia Ponti. I'm your dating, relationship, and attraction coach and life coach, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time viewing my channel, I welcome you to subscribe and hit that subscribe button and comment below and tell me if it is. You will not be disappointed because I am going to actually give you the truth on the difference between that thing that woman says is, oh, I wish I can just find a nice guy. But then when you're on the internet and you hear all these things of nice guy syndrome and nice guys don't get results, which I have a video about, which I'll put up here in the cards of who is a nice guy that you would watch afterwards. But I'm gonna distinguish the two, the one that doesn't get results with women and the one that does, so stay tuned. All right, let's begin. So number one, let's start here on my little whiteboard. So I'm gonna put a little line down the middle because I'm gonna give you the difference of traits and attributes of what a lot of men do. So number one, a nice guy seeks approval all the time from others. Seeks approval from others. Okay? All right, let me go into this first. Number one is he seeks approval from others all the time. So a nice guy will seek approval from others, seek validation from women, and what this is subconsciously and actually consciously telling a person is my validation exists within you. So I don't have control of myself, my emotions, and you do. And so within that doesn't show confidence, right? Not at all. And this is why we don't get results in maybe our job or with women when we're dating, with our boss and so on. But a good guy, instead of seeking approval constantly, right? Instead of validating what seeking validation from others, what does he do? So instead of seeking approval from others, instead what a good guy does is he accepts himself. And I'm going to go into what this means. I think that when we accept ourselves, there's a fine line. I'm going to put just accept ourselves. And the difference here is because when a nice guy seeks approval from others, this basically means that he doesn't accept himself. But when a good guy, the difference on these two is he accepts himself. And so part of this means that he takes ownership in what he has experienced in his life. He doesn't look at himself and he doesn't compare himself to others. He doesn't think that he has no value. He doesn't think that he's not enough. Now, as humans, sometimes we can have these tendencies to kind of go back there, but inside he has a lot of dignity and self-worth for himself. So one of the reasons why good guys will get really good results with women is because he accepts himself and he carries that with confidence, and it comes off not only in his body language and his demeanor and how he represents himself, but it comes out in every avenue. That is just something that naturally happens and progresses in his dates and when he dates women. Number two. Now, a nice guy syndrome in regards to number two, he tries to hide his flaws. So he tries to hide his flaws, guys. Now, what does this mean? When a man tries to hide his flaws or someone tries to hide their flaws, it means that they're denying them their own selves, right? It means that they don't feel good enough. It means that they lack confidence. And it means that they have this probably little voice in their head that's saying that you're not enough. And if you deny your flaws, a woman's not going to like you. And, you know, probably giving into this little devil on their shoulder saying, you know, you're not enough and you're stupid and all this name calling. The way we talk to ourselves 9 out of 10 times for a lot of humans out here, we would never talk to our friend or best friend like that. The difference between this with a good guy is he owns his flaws. And so I want you to see how these two, all these are going to intertwine between each other, okay? Now, this one doesn't. He hides his flaws, but he owns his flaws, meaning maybe he's a horrible speller because I am, but I own it because I know that I still get results. I still help coach. I'm still an amazing coach. I help so many men We do this all day, every day. And why would I let that hold me back? Because that's something I can get better at and something that I have gotten better at. But I own it. I make jokes about it sometimes. And so a lot of times when a man is on a date with a woman, what he'll do is he'll own his flaws. Maybe like he gets really nervous instantly. What a nice guy will do is he'll try to hide his nervousness, but he'll still really tense and he doesn't communicate and he asks questions and it's a Barbara Walters interview all of a sudden, and then the woman's not attracted to him. But instead, the good guy, what he does, because he's accepted himself, like number one, what he says is he just calls it out. He'll call it out and he'll emote and he'll say something like, "Ooh, you're pretty beautiful and you make me a little nervous, but definitely once we get over this hump, I won't be nervous anymore." And you guys just laugh. Or, oftentimes I don't get nervous, so this might be a good sign, right? So you make really fun comments about your own flaws in that moment because this shows self-acceptance. Self-acceptance means confidence. Let's get into number 3. Number 3 is nice guys sacrifice their own personal power and worth. So this means that they self-isolate, they don't own who they are as a person. They live by every single one of their flaws and they just perceive themselves as having all these flaws, and they feel like they will never get results with women and they continue to stay stuck in that victim mentality, we might say, right? So they also serve as a victim. And so in our victim mentality, it's really hard to see our own ways that we show up. Because victim mentality can make us feel so safe at times because of the fact that this can be comfortable, because we don't have to do the work. We don't have to put the magnifying glass on ourselves and say, what makes me feel empowered? What doesn't make me feel empowered? Why do I not have worth? Why do I not have confidence? Why do I not have self-esteem? Right? Why don't I own who I am? What am I doing? Am I comparing myself to other men? Do I have this limiting belief system? Was I bullied when I was younger and I still carry that with me? Have I worked through it with a therapist or a coach? A lot of us have inherited traumas in our lives, and a lot of times when we have these nice guy tendencies, it has a lot to do with how we were raised, brought up, and our experiences that we've had in romantic relationships and relationships in regards to our parents and family. So with a good guy, what a good guy does, the difference between here is obviously he owns his personal power and worth. So he owns his story, let's say. So he owns his story. Let me give you an example. There's this guy named Greg that I coached. Him and I probably had a couple sessions within 1 month because he was like done. He wanted to get over this nice guy syndrome. This was his biggest thing right here, number 3. I remember when he came to me and he had no self-worth because he's been abused verbally by women in the past. He didn't have a relationship with his father, and his mother wanted him to be perfect, and it was always a perfectionist. And anytime he did something good, he wanted praise from her, but never really got it in the right way. And she always wanted more for him. And so after this and after coaching, he's discovered this, what I'm telling you, but he also discovered how this was affecting his life. He was able to cross his T's and dot his I's. A lot of times when we go through experiences in life and our traumas, we continue to act from the same behaviors because we're not even aware of where these behaviors are coming from in the first place. So we can't make sense of them. So now Greg owns his story. Why? Because he was able to cross his T's and dot his I's. He's able to understand how he's been triggered, how he has his feelings arise in his body when he's triggered, what he does when he's triggered, and then being able to unwire those behaviors through coaching, through personal development, through journaling, through the work that we've given him. And now Greg actually reached out to me not too long ago, and he goes, Apollonia, I was on a date with a woman recently, and me and her were getting in a deep conversation, and I finally got what she meant by owning her story, and I feel like she's highly attracted to me because we've gone out on 3 dates afterwards, and I think I like her, and so on. We might become a couple yet, but I'm still taking my time to know her. And what he told me, and he says, I just remember the conversation when she was asking me, she asked me a question like, what is something that I'm not so proud about? And he basically answered this, and he's like, I've never been able to answer it like this in my life, and I'm so surprised with what came out of my mouth. And he said, it's really hard for me to find something I wasn't proud of at this moment, not proud about, because I've done so much work in my life. And a man, if you would have asked me that to a man a year ago, I probably would definitely been able to have a laundry list of things. But he goes, one thing that I have discovered is I used to be a guy, and he was very open. I used to be a guy that was a people pleaser. I always said yes to everybody. I didn't know my values, my boundaries, and my worth. And it was something that I worked on. And now I have so much confidence, and you know, I just own who I am. And I only hope so many men and women can do the same thing, because a lot of times this comes from trauma and XYZ. And he told me that woman was like, so taken back by that answer. Like after that, she became closer to him, sat by him. And the reason why they ended up kissing that night, and it was just like, he noticed a shift in her when he opened up. There is a power when you're in front of a woman, especially a woman that is ready to show up and ready for a relationship and ready for a mature conversation. There is so much power in actually emoting within yourself in your story. Whatever that story may be, nobody has to know the details, but when ownership and vulnerability, right, is do they have the right, does that person have the right to share my story or to hear my story? And part of this is you can connect with someone on a deeper level, because nobody just wants someone who's boring and doesn't go through life challenges. It is attractive to see that someone says that they've had challenges and they've also been able to overcome them. Let's go into number 4. Number 4 is nice guys tend to disconnect or not have friendships with other men. So in this, I think that friendships with other men are so vital to a man's growth when it comes to dating, life, and relationships, just like it's so vital for women to have friends as women as well. There's something, a bond that you guys can share and learn from. And so often I see men that are these nice guys, they don't have a lot of friendships, they don't have a lot of male friends, and they tend to isolate themselves. The difference with this is a good guy obviously has male friendships, right? Has male friendships. And within those male friendships, he probably also has friendships that serve him, serve a purpose in their life. Make sure that you have friendships that are there to elevate you too at times. Have compassionate friendships. Have friendships that are trustworthy, meaningful friendships. You get out there, and if you don't have them, you're like, I'm on a mission to find some of them. I'll go to meetup groups. I'll go to walks. I'll do this. I'll do that. Whatever I got to do to meet people, I will do, because you know how effective this is in life. Now let's get into number 5 in regards to nice guy versus good guy. Number 5 is he denies his intent with women. This is a huge one. Now, what does this mean? What a nice guy typically does is he's okay with playing the friend card or just doing everything perfectly so this woman ends up liking him, or does everything for his boss, does everything for people in general, never says no, and hopes that these people will see him and love him and like him. Especially in the dating world, a lot of men will say, I just want to be friends, or go with it and be friends. And then all of a sudden, a month later, the girl starts dating or talking to someone else, and you confess in her true desires for you, your true desires for her. And so this is the card they play, because this is what we call the safe card, which is a form of manipulation as well. Nice guys actually really aren't nice, because when they don't get their way, they react because they hold so much emotion in. And so what happens here on number 5 is the difference here is good guys show proper, I should say, proper and respectful, but proper intent, okay? So many times also too, when we have a nice guy that's really bad with emotional emotional intelligence, or isn't really good on picking up on social cues, what will happen to you is the nice guy will think that showing intent means escalation. Like, he'll have a conversation, how are you today, and then just escalate right there. And you're like, woman's like, whoa, what sign did I give you that you can just be sexual with me? And they do, and they think escalation is just sexual, which is not. Escalation is not just sexual. Escalation can be in bantering and in flirting. And so a good guy will show proper intent. I have a bunch of videos about how to show intent, but also too, if you're really bad with showing intent and you're always getting in the friend zone, I would really encourage you to download my Friend Zone No More program. It's all about getting out of the friend zone. This Friend Zone No More program, you'll see tons of testimonials on here. It's over 2 hours of video content with me, and one of them is a bonus video of how properly to show intent and actually do this in your dating life with women. I'll put it below in the description box if this is something you want to check out. I would highly, highly, highly encourage it. We get so many men results to get out of the friend zone as well. So let's go into number 6. Not only does a nice guy deny his intent with women, but a nice guy actually also too dismisses his values. So what will happen is he'll probably get into relationships with women that use him. He will get into relationships with women that overspeak him, that are more masculine than him. Also too, he'll get into relationships with women who don't respect him. And so the difference with a good guy is he knows his values and he acts from them. So let me tell you something here. A good guy that knows his values will also deny a woman that doesn't align with his values. But a nice guy that dismisses his values will never be able to deny a woman in the first place, because his mindset thinks that he has to hide his flaws, he has to seek approval from others, he has to sacrifice his own personal worth, he has to disconnect from his friendships, and he has to deny intent, because if he's just the proper guy and he's so nice and he does everything for everybody, and then that woman is going to just fall in love with him like a Hollywood story, right? But that never exists. And so what ends up happening here is the good guy is living his best life, basically. Maybe he experiences dates that aren't the best every once in a while, but he's one step further to finding love. But here, the nice guy, what happens is, because he doesn't get results, what I see so much is anger happens. And anger that's pushed down, which is sometimes even scary, and that's why nice guys get very isolated and depressed, is because they push down the anger and they blame the other women or people. They have anger, they have blame, they have shame, and they have guilt. So, if this speaks to you, what I would really encourage you is not only to possibly book a session with us, one-on-one coaching session with me and my coaches, because this is something that we examine, we can help you through. But number 2 is I would really encourage you to get support system with other brotherhood community, a membership that I put in together where we have coaching calls weekly. We have 5 free programs for our members. We have discounts. We have so much in our membership community. We have a private Facebook community, and we have live calls and live sessions like you've seen here before, where I go in depth and I can coach you live, take your questions and answers, and me and my coaches put a lot into it. So I want you to become part of our secret club, part of our brotherhood society, where you'll be able to make friends as well and get that support at a very, very low price. I'm going to put it below in the description box. Now, I want you to remember that not only am I going to be here to support you in the membership, but I want you to also watch the next video that I had in regards to who is a nice guy as well. In that, you'll be able to put these 2 videos together and really understand and take away and put some personal development work into your hands so we can break free of getting that nice guy tendency and transforming it into the good guy, so you can get results in your dating life and with women, because that's what I want for you. I just want you to be happier, content, and loved and happy, and really get what you want and fulfill in a fulfilling life. All right, guys. So as always, as you know, I'll put the video here in the end card, and also too, don't forget to download my free ebook if you haven't yet. It's a 7 common mistake ebook that men make when attracting a woman. I'll see you again in the next video, and I will also see you in our membership. Bye for now.